Now, we've already had our wonderful panel introduced to you, so it leaves me to introduce our guest speaker, who is, I have to say, a world-renowned, yes you are, you're a world-renowned leading light in leadership speaking, in executive coaching. He's also an author. He is someone that I look up to and I have a huge amount of respect for, and I was so excited to see his name here today. So please give a very warm welcome to René Carayol.
Thank you, and that is so kind of you. Just, Patrick, I wanted to just say, before we were so rudely interrupted earlier, that's leadership. What we heard from Patrick is what we want to hear, leadership. And let me just push that a bit more. Belonging is about leadership. Leadership is about belonging. You cannot separate the two items. And we sometimes have this misconception that leaders are only at the top of the organization. Fallacy. Leaders are everywhere. Managers are at the top. Leaders are everywhere. When I say belonging, everybody in, nobody out. Absolutely no one is left behind. VUCA is a term that was coined by the Americans, Second World War. We are living in VUCA times, as we've just experienced. It's hard to anticipate, it's hard to predict, difficult to navigate. In more consistent times, management alone will do it. Today we need leadership, and from everyone. 3 women working on a building site. Breaking rocks, it's the toughest work you've ever seen. They're dripping in sweat. The journalist comes along and says to the first one, "Why do you do this work?" She says, "I haven't worked for 3 years. I took the first job I could get." Goes to the second woman. "Why do you do this work?" "I have a husband and 3 kids to feed. I took the first job I could get." Comes to the third woman. "Why do you do this work?" She looks up proudly, wipes the sweat from her brow, and she says, "I'm helping to build a cathedral. I'm helping to build a cathedral." And it could be a temple, synagogue, or mosque, depending on where we are. Nobody in our world of belonging, nobody does a menial, manual, unnecessary job. Everyone is vital. Everyone is essential. The role of the leaders, make everyone feel they're helping to build that cathedral. Their role, their part is essential. What they do is vital. It's not letting them know that once at the town hall every month. Every single day, leaders turn up, they connect. They ensure everyone feels they belong. We all need someone to believe in and something to belong to. When I started out coaching some 25 years ago, businesses were hierarchies. At the top of that hierarchy, 9 times out of 10, and I choose my words carefully, was the cleverest man in the room. They made every call. They authorized everything. 25 years ago, the world was slow enough, incremental enough that one person could do that. Today, that's impossible. It's fast, it's complex. We need the team, a collaborative team, a diverse team, a team that creates an environment where everyone feels they can bring their authentic self to their place of work. Belonging. I coached Maria Ramos when she was chief executive at Barclays Africa. An absolutely brilliant leader. She's chair of Standard Chartered Bank today. Back in the day, in Johannesburg, at the HQ of Barclays Africa, it was announced that Nelson Mandela was coming down to give a talk at the Exco meeting. I was coaching Maria and coaching her Exco team. We were told that Nelson was coming at 9:30 and leaving at 11:30 sharp. At 9 o'clock, I was in the courtyard. The red carpet hadn't come out yet. I was in the courtyard standing with the gardeners, the cleaners, security men, and myself. 9 a.m, a limousine pulls up. Chauffeur gets out the front door, opens the back door, out steps Nelson Mandela, the limousine drives off. He walks around the courtyard. He speaks to everyone, every cleaner, every security person, and me. The limousine comes back, he steps in the limousine, he disappears. 9:30, it came back, the red carpet's out, he came into the exco, I facilitated the meeting, gave us a 30-minute speech, 11:30, car came back, he left. I'm back in the courtyard, 11:45, the limousine comes back, out steps Nelson Mandela, walks around the courtyard again, speaks to all of us, again. This time with one difference. He remembered our first names. He remembered our first names. Guess how that made us feel? Guess how that made me feel? Around that time, there were 150,000 people that worked for Barclays across the world. One story hit the grapevine. Nothing to do with Mandela's speech. One simple story. He remembered their first names. Within 48 hours, Barclays executives, managers, leaders were clumsily trying to remember people's first names. Managers talk strategy. Leaders tell stories. Stories hit the corporate grapevine. They can change the culture. We've worked with a bunch of brands over the last 5 years. Every single one of these are going through some level of transformation. Not just change, transformation. And I've coached a bunch of leaders over the years. Each one of these, inclusion is a necessary part of leadership today. You cannot lead without being inclusive. You cannot be inclusive without leading. None of these are all-rounders. None of these are brilliant at everything. Every single one of them. And my coaching to them is find the 2 or 3 things they're outstanding at and get those to Olympian standard. Stop focusing on the things you're not so good at, your areas for development, your limitations. Focus on building a diverse team where the things you're not so good at, others have them as strengths. The team is the star. Great players don't win trophies, great teams win trophies. Today, the role of the leader. Create an environment where everyone can bring their authentic self to their place of work, knowing they're going to flourish, knowing they're going to thrive, knowing they're not going to be judged, knowing they're not going to be forced to fit in. It's the biggest driver of business performance we've experienced. It's not just the right thing to do, it's the smart thing to do. Let me say it again so I don't lose it. The biggest driver of business performance that we've seen in all the coaching that we do. That inclusive environment where people feel they belong. And when they do, they go the extra mile for you every day. I'm the son of immigrants. My parents were born in Gambia, West Africa. And back in those days, in the British colony, we had primary education, secondary education, no tertiary, no colleges, no universities. If you wanted to go to university, you came to the mother country. My parents were middle class. They sold up everything to get their 3 kids, ideally, to university. When they came over to London in the 1960s, London was the most expensive city on the planet. With their life savings, they couldn't afford the best of housing. And we all know the story. Not being able to get into the best of housing meant not getting into the best of schooling. It seemed like the dream was over. I somehow scraped myself into university. 10 years at Marks & Spencer. Was a merchandiser. Not the best merchandiser. My parents were delighted. Got to university, Marks & Spencer. It's made. The phone rang. It's Pepsi. They're looking for a board director. I just knew That could not be me. They'd made a mistake. They got the wrong person. 3 months later, I'm on the board of Pepsi. I moved to Purchase, New York. This was April 1992. There were 7 of us on the board in those days. All men in those dark days. I was the only non-American. I didn't look like my colleagues. I didn't sound like my colleagues. I was completely different. They made me feel welcome, but I'd never been in a boardroom. I did not know what a board director was supposed to do. As life would have it, my very first day of work was a board meeting. I'm sitting in the boardroom with my colleagues and I'm bricking it. I'm going to be found out. I'm shaking. The boardroom door flew open. In walks Larry, Group Chief Executive. This was April 1992, before Google. Gentlemen, let me introduce you to our new board director, René Carayol. I froze. Let me tell you a little bit about René. He had no notes, he had no Google. What the hell was he going to say? René's parents left Gambia in the early 1960s, came to London. I froze. I'd never put that on a CV, never put it on an application form. I never thought that was going to help me anywhere. How did he know? What was he going to say? He continued. Primary school, junior school, high school, chronological order, no notes. Guess how he was making me feel? University degree, in detail. I soon realized, for the first time in my life, someone was talking positively about me. With no notes, with no Google. The most extraordinary thing, he went on to describe my 10 years at Marks and Spencer's. I was a merchandiser, I did 9 different roles in 10 years. He named them in chronological order. I nearly burst into tears. He made me feel so special, so wanted, so cared for. This was light years before we termed inclusion or belonging. I can't tell you how that made me feel. There was a TV series at the time called Mission Impossible. My colleagues nicknamed me Mission Impossible, because if Larry had a task that couldn't be done, he gave it to me. I never let him down. Because of 3 to 4 minutes. No, not 3 to 4 minutes, a lifetime. In those 3 to 4 minutes, Larry made me feel special, wanted, needed. I belonged. I belonged. What do you do when somebody doesn't look like you, sound like you, maybe worship like you, maybe love like you, joins your team? How far do you go out of your way to make them feel they're part of something special? In 3 to 4 minutes, Larry changed the trajectory of my career. We were lucky enough to do some work at Bentley. 130 years old, based out of Crewe, Lancashire. 3,000 people work at Bentley. The majority of them, automotive engineers who, the heritage is amazing. Fathers and mothers, grandfathers, grandmothers worked for Bentley. They followed suit. Automotive engineers, proud to be so, the best of British. For the first time, something strange happened recently. Nearly a whole generation went off to university, in and around Crewe, and most never came back. This talent pool that they'd had forever diminished, disappeared. By the time we went up there to work with Bentley, 70% of the workforce was coming from Adecco, contract, Irish, Eastern European, Afro-Caribbean, Southern Asian. Hard-working, clever, smart. Wanted a fair day's pay for a fair day's work. It wasn't the heritage of yesteryear. They felt they'd lost this belonging. This bit where everyone felt so proud they went the extra mile. Performance slipped. Adrian, the chief executive, would walk the shop floor, trying to find out what was going on, what did he need to fix. Something he heard was a trigger. There was no canteen, no restaurant. Historically, they made sandwiches, they had a thermos flask, they sat together outside, old mates, and discussed problems and solved all the issues around Bentley. Here was a generation that wanted a Pret. They didn't want a thermos flask, they don't make sandwiches, they wanted a Pret. Adrian fought the board. In straitened times, tough times, got the approval to build a restaurant. Day one, the restaurant was packed to the rafters. Day two, empty. What had gone wrong? He walked the floors again. He was soon to find out. £7 a meal. For a board director, easy peasy. For the workforce, barrier to entry. He fought the board again. Had the price changed? £1 a meal. The place was packed. It wasn't just packed, performance went up. People felt they were listened to. People felt they belonged. People felt they were cared for. People felt they were included. Belonging drives business performance. A really important slide I'll put up today. I haven't spoken to you at all about management. Without management, you go out of business tomorrow. This is not about forgetting management. It's not enough in times of change, in times of transformation. We need this leadership bit. And as I said before, leaders just aren't at the top of the organization that ever are. Everyone in this room, everyone listening to us can be a leader if you choose to be. No one makes you a leader. It's not a job title. It's not rank. It's not hierarchy. It's a mindset. It's an attitude. And when I say leadership, I mean purpose, vision, people, teams, culture. Purpose, vision, people, teams, culture. We call management the hardware. I call leadership the software. Management, the IQ, leadership, the EQ. And my definition, leadership is not management. It's how you energize your people towards your vision. Keyword, energize. Here's why we obsess about it. Leadership is the art of accomplishing more than the science of management says is possible. When they say it can't be done, get the leaders in. Harvard came up with some fantastic research 3 years ago. They said mentees get a 16% career acceleration out of a mentoring relationship. Here's the killer piece I don't want you to forget. Mentors get a 53% career acceleration. We've seen this in action, especially where mentee and mentor come from different backgrounds. The mentor's got to create an environment where the mentee will find their voice, will speak up, will challenge, will not feel afraid, will feel authentic, will be themselves. It improves the mentor. It changes how they lead. And when they go back to their place of work, they've changed. So here's your advice. You want to be a better leader? Of course. Find yourself a mentor. You want to be a super leader? Find yourself a mentee. Mentor, coach, advocate, sponsor. Mentor. Get you to be the best that you can be. Coach. Getting you to best that you can be in your role for the business. Advocate. Talk you up when you're not around. Sponsor. Get you promoted, period. We all need 4. We all need these 4. When we're lucky, we can get them in one person. We can all be these 4. When we're coaching now, we've moved the world. It's no longer the fixation on the people. Fixing the people, fixing people. It's fix the environment. Belonging builds tomorrow. Here are the 4 things we coach more than anything else with our leaders. Call it out, but with forgiveness. Give people the chance to change. For those who come from a different background to you, who have more authority than feels natural, watch the return on investment. Be brutally honest all the time, but with care. Don't confront, don't alienate. Take people with you. Probably the most important of the lot. Be more compassionate than you think you need to be every day, especially with those who are different to you. Just be that more compassionate than you think you need to be every single day. It's coming towards the end. Here's a video that I think brings together everything I've been talking to you about. She has the voice of an angel. She's won so many singing contests across America, but this is the big one. This is a huge one. She's singing on Saturday nationally televised basketball game. She's going to sing the American national anthem. She's done it so many times before, but on this occasion, somehow, she slips. Anxiety. This is leadership. This is coaching. This is inclusion. This is belonging.
And now to honor America and salute the men and women serving our country with our national anthem, please welcome, as voted by you, the fans, our winner of the Toyota Get the Feeling of a Star promotion, Natalie Gilbert.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the stars like stars? Stars like glass gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. Oh, the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, and the sea and air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Think she will ever forget him? Never. We can all do that for each other. Let me leave you with our final message. Not everyone remember what you said, not everyone remember what you did. Everyone remember how you made them feel. The message for all of us today: look out for each other, look after each other. Thank you very much for your attention.
Wow, that was spine-tingling stuff at the end, René. Thank you so much. Can I please